Ochanji. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Very, very interesting scenario we have right now in the country.
Okay.
I am yet to fully grasp the current education system in this nation. And what I've discovered, I sit down with many parents.
Yes.
As we are talking about, kids being in school and stuff. And I discovered that I'm not the only one who seems to be struggling to understand how this system is going. How would you rate this education system?
Okay, so far the education system itself, it's okay.
The education system is okay?
Yeah, the CBC is okay. But because of the challenges, I think the country was not well prepared for that. It was, maybe they could have done some preparation, but it was very soon. Itself is okay, because when you compare CBC with the other curricula, the international curricula, is now almost the same.
Oh, really?
The difference is a thin line, but now the bigger difference comes because of the facility. And the structure, because the international curriculum, they are well structured. Most of the international curriculum are well structured. But our CBC, I think the issue is the preparation, facilities and so on, and the training. Because most of the schools we have also gone through, still teachers are just in this 844 system. They're not,
so instead of teaching CBC, they're still teaching more of 844.
Yes, because if we have to embrace CBC, because CBC in full is competence.
Yeah, competence curriculum.
Now you see, so far it's not competence. It's still in the traditional 844. So far, maybe few schools that are able to have the facility and they have done major training to the teachers. Yeah. So to me, I can say that the system itself is okay, because I was lucky to be in the international curriculum after I was in the 844 curriculum as a teacher.
Yes.
So I've seen a very major difference, because in the international curriculum, there are all those flexible learning, they're all there. But now, for example, let me say, you want to, I just give an example, many of our schools, they are maybe in remote. Even those in town, they don't have the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
So, teachers, they feel like we want to do, but now the facility limits them.
So it is the curriculum itself, the models that are being prepared are good.
They are very
but
good.
The teachers have not been trained how to implement
Yes, most
this.
of them, they just do very short courses. And, okay, right now they are now, those who are now doing the teachers who are still in campus, those who are leaving campus, they are incorporating that, which is a good move from the government. But they could have done, because now the major number of teachers, they didn't go through that. Now the one who are going, and our country employment is a problem. So most of the teachers who are coming out, yes, they have been trained, but there is a small number which are being absorbed.
So what is the key difference between the way of training an 844 teacher and the CBC? Because 1 + 1, whether in CBC or in 844, is 2.
Yes, so you see in CBC, we look at the skills, majorly on a skill. So by the time the student is moving to another level, from another level, we measure on the skill. We want to see, did they achieve anything? But 844, it was about time. You have finished class 8, you finished Form 4. So that's where now you are doing all these subjects, but there was more of theory. So like, it's all about time. I want to finish class 8, I finish my Form 4, go to campus. You find a student from after campus, they don't have anything to show off. They are just giving you grades. You will just have grades. But now when it comes to CBC, you have skills. And that's why I was telling you, CBC, when I compare with the international curriculum, if actually it can be well implemented and well structured, it's better. Because looking at, like, for example, in these other curriculums, you find when a student is in grade 5, they already know how to cook. They can make you a cake. They already know how to design things, draw things, because they are learning skills. They're moving with skills because they have the facility.
Yes.
Yeah, but now that is the challenge our CBC teachers and schools are facing, because we cannot now do that. Our student, you go to those schools, they are finished grade 9. You will find they don't have any skills to show off.
Yet they've gone through.
Yes. So
a competence.
Yeah. So that competence, that's where the problem is. I think the government should focus on that, because it's a good system, but now there is something lacking.
So the major difference now between what they aspire and what is on the ground,
yes,
is the schools are not well equipped.
They are not well equipped. Most schools.
Yes.
So there are just a few. You know, we have a few schools in urban centers.
Yes.
That are lucky to have been equipped.
Yes.
Especially private schools. Yeah, most of a good number of private schools that I know. But for public schools, I've gone to many of them. They're struggling. Yeah, they're struggling to really move with this CBC.
So when you look at CBC and what I've seen some of my friends adopt,
yes,
the homeschooling kind of education system.
Yes.
If you had parents here,
yes,
and the status quo within the education system remains, what would you tell them to adopt?
Okay, I will not advise. You know, we have not really embraced, or our country has not really embraced the homeschooling.
Yes.
But for me, if you ask me, we should allow the parents to understand that there are flexible learning models.
Yes.
So they are not restricted.
So you're not restricted just to the
CBC.
public system.
Yeah, in
CBC.
fact, even before we come to the homeschooling,
yes,
many of our parents, they don't have much knowledge of other curriculums. They just know we have CBC.
Yes,
but we have Montessori as a curriculum.
Okay, but as you explain,
Yes.
as you tell us with the different systems,
yes,
of you will help us understand. What is the difference between that,
yes,
and the CBC?
And the CBC.
Yes.
So these other curriculums, especially now under the umbrella of international curricula, there are many curriculums under that. Like, for example, we have Cambridge, we have Pearson, Edexcel, we have American curriculum, we have IB. So all these, plus we have many, like French, you have Indian curriculum and so on. But majorly on the first three that I mentioned, if you look at their educational systems, they're almost the same. And one thing they major on is the facility. The facility.
Meaning the equipment.
They equip the school fully for the system to run. Like for example, when I talk about equipping them, those curriculums, the schools that are taking those curriculums, they all have Wi-Fi in the school, and they will have very fully furnished computer laboratories, and they will even encourage students to have laptops, iPads, and so on. So you see, it becomes very easier for you to implement that. But now, without those things, you will feel like you want to do, but you are limited. Now, that's the challenges our teachers are facing, our children are facing.
Is that to mean that the current education system is so online based, or based on internet and stuff?
It's one of the models. Like yes. When it comes to learning, you need to incorporate many learning models in the line. So like if you don't have other options, you're just going to that class, you're teaching, and if a teacher has to do anything that's now in CBC,
yes, they
have to be more creative.
Yes.
So they keep on being creative because they don't have the material. I went to a school in a certain town away from Nairobi, and I discovered that even the manilas,
yes,
even
Manila
the simple
papers,
manilas, they're not there because sometimes, they strain, and you understand right now the capitation of the school is very low. So in fact, right now is when we could be having more capitation to school, because now schools cannot even make those symbol charts to give to display for learning. So it's not just online, but online is just one of it. It's one of the flexible learning model, and that one we'll discuss later on.
Yeah,
So,
maybe I can take you back.
Yes.
You talked about the different.
Yes.
Yeah, you had started on Montessori.
Montessori, yes.
So what is Montessori?
Yeah, now that in Montessori, remember that a teacher will be taught in training as a Montessori teacher, but when they come to the ground, maybe he's employed. It depends. Has this teacher been employed to a school with the full facilities? Now that the teacher can be able to use that knowledge to now embrace that knowledge and make sure there's, and again, not all schools are doing that, selecting on Montessori. Maybe they are just on the CBC.
So maybe if you can define,
Yes.
what is Montessori, so that you will take us through. Apart from CBC,
Yes.
we have Montessori. You mentioned there's an American system, I guess
we
the
have,
British system.
British, yeah, all those.
So what difference is it? How would you define the Montessori system?
Montessori, you see now, that's where there is a more of creativity in students. Students are given room to be more creative, more innovative. Yeah, and also, you know, this, as I said, it has to happen when students have something to do, because if you only give them books,
Yes.
and you give them the desks, and you give them the teacher without any other equipment, so it is limited. So even if the school is embracing that, you find it's limited. So Montessori can only do better when the school is equipped again. Yeah.
And another system of education?
Another system of education, as I said, is we have this.
Because you talked about flexible.
Yeah, the flexible model. Okay, if we talk about flexible model, which I told you that most of the other curriculums that are impressing because they are equipped. For example, if I talk about blended learning, a teacher, you'll find a teacher is teaching the student physically in class, the in person.
Yes.
But now when the student go home, they do the work, maybe they watch a video, they do flip lessons, then they come to school only to do the activities.
Oh, so there's blend, meaning they'll go to school,
Yes.
but at the same time there
At
are times
home,
where they just
learn
do it
for
from
themselves.
home.
Yeah, maybe you are teaching, say, digestive system. So a student will be at home, will be able to watch the whole digestive system, and then the teacher can send the questions and the PowerPoints. Those are, we call them the flip lessons.
Yes.
Then the student, when they come to school, they just maybe get some little explanation in some work or activity. That's blended learning. Then there is online. Now this online is purely just online. That's why when we started, I told you that our parents should embrace. If you go to countries like America, UK, and so on, they have embraced all those models.
Yes.
So like when it comes to online, I'm a product.
Let's take America for
Yes.
instance. They have one curricula for America, but from what you're saying,
Yes.
maybe it's blended in the
Yes.
sense that there are people who are still doing the same thing,
Yes.
but they are doing it from home.
Yes, they do it. They are very free. They are very flexible.
Yes.
A child can just learn from home and is doing exam in school. That's now what I'm saying, like blended, whereby you are in the school, but you are at home doing work yourself, or there's a teacher at home.
Yes.
Then now when it comes to online, I was telling you that I'm a product of an online learning from Kenyatta University. So all my learning, it was all online. So I was only meeting my lecturers during exams or maybe when we start. So it all happened virtual learning. So this one is purely learning online. You cannot now do it physical. That's another model. Then now these things I'm saying, many of our parents they are not having much of that information.
And
Because,
if I was a parent and I wanted to embrace that,
Yes.
do our teachers have the capability, or is there a program separately that will train my child from home in Kenya?
In Kenya?
Yes.
In Kenya, just like a program whereby you train a child at home from the lower classes to the higher classes. It's not fully like implemented, a full program just to put student at home. So that's why now we embrace the blended one, whereby the child is in school because of some few reasons, is learning from home. Yeah, we are coming there. So I was talking about the online,
Yes.
Whereby it's purely at home. Now this one majorly it happens when students are maybe in campus and so on. And then there is a hybrid. Hybrid is happening in schools, as I told you, some CBC schools,
Yes.
some international schools, only those who have equipments. So in hybrid or high flex, we call it high flex, a student has a choice. You wake up, you are late. So you feel I don't want to go to school. It's just sitting at home, then you are connected to the learning in school. So your friends are in school, you are at home, you follow up the learning. You will see your teacher, you'll interact with your teacher, you will ask questions, but you are at home.
Yes.
Now this one, as I was telling you, majorly they're happening in international curriculum with some few CBC schools, yeah, which have those equipment. And now you see a child can be sick.
Yes.
In that circumstance, maybe sick, and a parent feels like my child can't go to school for 2 days. So instead of missing the lesson, the child will sit at home.
But he has access to
He
the
will
lesson.
access the learning.
He accesses the teacher
Yes,
at the same time the other students.
He will
access
even
it.
be able, the other student will see this student at home.
Yes.
Yeah, and this student will interact with the rest. He can even or she can ask questions. Yeah, that's now the hybrid one. And then we have the competent-based learning. Yeah, the competent-based learning is where our teachers focus on a skill. So a child is just, we focus on one skill, then after mastering that skill, you go to another skill. Say, for example, in home science. Once you know how to make those cake or make some cooking, or you are good in home science or cooking, then you go to another skill that you prefer to do. And that's why I was telling you that this one is well done in international curriculum.
Yes.
But some CBC schools, when I walk around, I see they are embracing it. Majorly the private one, not the government schools. And then we have project-based, is also another flexible model. This one, you know, when it comes to competence-based and project-based, majorly we focus on the school and teachers, not now outside, whereby now the teachers encourage students to be creative, innovative, to maybe to look at the challenges that are facing the world, maybe say energy and so on. Now they allow students to think, come up with solution to those. So that is now project based. So that's where you normally see these science projects and so on. But we should not just look at the science project competition only. This has to be done in school on daily basis. So students should just be coming up with the project, finding a way, you know, it helps to think.
Yes.
And then lastly is personalized learning.
Yes.
I think that's where now we'll be measuring. That's where I can say we are in majorly.
Personalized learning, you're talking more of like the homeschooling.
Homeschooling or the language, because also many people are asking, because the language that our parents or our people will understand is private teaching or private coaching. That one, majorly they know that. But now private, there is a difference. Somebody was asking me, what's the difference between homeschooling and this tuition, these people running around? Yes. I think there is a big difference. Because private tuition, you get a teacher outside here or from your school. Yes. You tell the teacher, okay, come teach my child. Yes. There is no formal structure, there is no agreement, there is nothing. So, and you know, there are also risks coming along that, because it's just like if anything happens, you don't know where to start from. Yes. You didn't do thorough maybe checkup and everything. So in the different now in homeschooling is more structured. Yes. Because some of the homeschooling, you link the teacher who is coming, or the institution that is doing homeschooling, has to link this with this current school, because the student can be purely on homeschooling.
Yes.
And that's why I was telling you that our country they have not embraced that, but we are heading there.
Yes.
So, but what is happening right now? There is homeschooling.
Yes.
But the student is in the school, in his or her traditional school, but it's not going. It's just registering there.
Oh, like you take, for instance, you register,
Yes.
like Matopeni Primary School.
Yes.
You're on paper, you're a student
There, but you don't appear there. You only go for major exams. You go only for major exams. You go sit for exam, and you sit with the rest.
So that is what is happening currently.
Majorly, that's what is happening. Majorly, yes.
Because I've seen students. I've seen quite a number of people who are taking homeschooling.
Yes.
Now I hadn't made that connection that they're actually registered in a particular school.
Yes.
Your everyday school.
Yeah, your everyday school, and there are reasons for that.
Yes.
Because the question is, why will a parent come to that?
Yes.
There are many reasons why a parent will say, okay, one of the reasons is what you started with.
Yes.
You find maybe a teacher being so harsh.
Yes.
To the student, because I remember when I was still in primary, our teachers used to have a target. Like they will tell you, okay, my pass mark is 80%.
Yes.
So if you don't get 80% and above, they will all come to rain on you.
Yes.
So they don't understand that these kids are different.
Yes.
Their IQ is different. There are those who cannot go beyond 40. There are those who can go beyond 50. And they can do that when there is an attention, maybe one-on-one. So they just generalize them. They say, okay, pass mark is this, but we have not really checked to know this student is not able to pass this level. Yeah. So you keep on forcing, and now the student feel like it's a kind of a bully from the teacher or from the student. They feel like they will laugh at me. So that's when the parent feels, okay, let me allow my child to be at home, and will only come to do exam. And there are, many schools are accepting that.
Yes.
And many schools, they accept, you just go, make arrangement, you register only, you pay the registration fees, then the student will learn from home.
And this personalized, like now the current homeschooling, homeschooling right now, is it based on the CBC? Yeah,
now when it comes to homeschooling, for example,
or is there a special curriculum?
For example, Brilliant,
yes,
which I had,
yes,
is not specified for one curriculum, because we have many experts.
You called it
Brilliant Learning Hub.
Learning
Hub, yes.
So this is an institution,
yeah, whereby we have experts on different curriculums. So if a parent approach and say, my child is doing CBC, then we'll specifically pick that teacher or tutor who is specialized in CBC. If the parent calls and says, okay, mine is doing Pearson Edexcel, we will get that expert specialized to that. Then we'll give the parent. Yes.
And so that simply means you have a huge pool of teachers.
We have a huge pool. And I can tell you that even I have a WhatsApp group where I've put many teachers who are looking for a job. There are many so we have which resources we have, but the employment rate is very low. There is a lot of graduates coming out of the university, but the employment is very low. So now, such thing, they're trying to help teachers at least to be somewhere before they. And also we use teachers who are already in the system. You find that teacher is already in a school, maybe like this I saw school around here. And we feel this teacher is very okay. He's an expert in this area. So we use even the same teacher, but now those ones who are already in the system, we now give them the evening lessons, weekend lessons.
You just enter into separate contracts.
Yes, we enter into separate contracts. But now, if a teacher totally doesn't have a job, we now they are the one who can take lesson during the day. And other teachers can even resign if they feel like where I'm working, what I'm getting small, and compare with what we can give, then they can even resign. Those especially in upcoming private schools.
So you hear that if kama ni mwalimu hujapata job ama uko kwa job,
they can conduct.
Yes, you can talk to us. We see how we can connect you so that you out in the market they call them gigs.
Yes,
so that you can get some of these gigs. So after graduation, maybe before we get to graduation, how are these children taught? Because if you look at a homeschooled child and a public school child, there seems to be a difference.
Yes.
Because the homeschooled one, though I've seen at times parents teaching them, they seem to have developed in so many other ways as compared to their mates in the public school. So what's the difference?
Okay, you see, in homeschooling or one-on-one, the student can absorb much of the content.
Can absorb much of the content
in a short time.
Yes.
Like, for example, if I give
this is proven scientifically.
It is proven.
Yes.
Because when, for example, my teacher is going to handle a student, we don't go beyond 3 hours.
Okay.
Maximum is 4 hours per day, but majorly is 2 hours. But you know the amount of the work done in 2 hours. I have a student who is doing O-level. I have a good number who are doing O-level and A-level.
Yes.
And primary. But when I check, when a teacher is taking one session, for example, it's 2 hours. A teacher can cover a whole topic in just 2 hours.
Yes.
A whole topic, and the student will tell you, I'm set.
Yes.
Bring questions, I will do.
Yes.
But the same one topic can take 1 week in traditional school. You know?
So you're able to cover a lot in such a short time.
In a short time.
Yes.
You cover a lot in a very short time.
Does the environment also play a difference?
It plays a difference because, you know, in school, as I mentioned earlier, there is sometimes bully.
Yes.
You know, students will bully each other. There is noise. Then, as we said, on the side of our teachers, they don't have that. Maybe most of them, not all, but most of them, they generalize.
Yes.
They don't want to have a one-on-one with the student to really understand why is my student doing this, not performing. And also some parent also, you know, when a student comes home, you want grade A. But you don't want to know why this child is giving you E or maybe D and so on. You need to sit down and find a way. How do I help my child? Maybe I can allow my child to be in school and have somebody to help at home to that one-on-one. So our parents will always have a high expectation. I'm a parent, I have high expectation.
True.
Then teachers also, they have the same stress. They want all the children to pass.
To get A's.
Yes,
and
because,
it's not possible.
It's not possible. So the difference is on the way, the expectation from the teachers and the parent. Because in homeschooling, you know, a teacher has patience with a student. You don't understand fraction, I will take you through slowly by slowly with a lot of patience until you know. Yes. Then we go to the next.
Yes.
Now you have been in school, you know.
Yes.
A teacher will come teach you algebra.
Hopefully.
Yeah, the algebra is done.
Yes.
I didn't understand. The teacher is already on another topic. They will not come to start teaching you alone with 40 students in class.
True.
It's not happening. So that is those are the difference. And that's why we are saying, even if this child is in school, you as a parent there, you need to, if you know something is not happening right, then look for a way on how to help your child at home. And as you said earlier, education is the best thing you can give
investment
to your child. When you are not there, they will benefit the fruits.
True.
So if you discover something is not right, stop having war with the teachers, because the teachers also have challenges in school. I have 50 students, you know, public school.
Yes.
70 students squeezed in a class. I have 40 minutes. I cannot finish a topic and call one student. I don't have that time.
True.
Yeah, so now it's upon the parent to do something about it.
True.
Yes.
When it comes to situations where the parents are the ones who are actually taking their children through this CBC, because I've seen that, yet the parents are professionals in other things. Say this guy is for the sake of this conversation, he's an engineer, he's what, but he's training his children at home, and I'm wondering, dude, you're not a teacher.
Yes.
So how does this play out?
Yeah, you know, for example, you have said a good point. I normally see even in my own house.
Yes.
When I want to put something small just on maybe to do with electrification, I will just call an expert because they know. Because that small thing, it can bring a big issue in the house.
Yes.
You understand? So as I saw that you are expert here, they were moving around the mic. But you know, you can't do it.
Yes.
Even if you see them. But you see, they know much. They will do everything and make sure everything is running. So the parents who are having that kind of attitude, I think they should, most of them, they have reasons. Most of them, they have some kind of history or past. Yeah, because there was a parent who asked me, I have a student, it's a girl.
Yes.
How can I trust a teacher coming home? Or I have a student, it's a boy. How do I trust the teachers coming home? Now, this is what we are saying, like if, for example, I don't know other homeschooling the way they are doing. But for us, there are many things we will check. First, if the room has a CCTV camera, if a parent can afford better. Nowadays, the CCTV camera of 3,000.
Yeah.
So if you can pay over 50,000 for school fees, why can't you just get a CCTV and put there?
True.
That's number one. Then number two, all our lessons on our side as Edmond, all our lessons should be taken if somebody is on the side, a guardian,
yes,
a parent, and so on. Just to
so your teachers don't teach students where the guardians or somebody just responsible is not there.
Yep, till somebody signs that the lesson is starting at this time.
Yes,
I'm the guardian. Then the teacher starts, not a teacher and a student. Yes.
Okay, I think that's very important. Because it assures a parent.
Yes, that's the fear they have.
Yes,
that's why you see a parent will decide, okay, I will do it myself.
Yes,
because I don't want issues with my child and so on. Then that's why I was telling you the difference between homeschooling, which is structured, and just taking a teacher out there. Because you know, you will not really understand what happens. Yes. There is no breakdown and rules and everything, because for us there are many rules.
So they like. Take for instance, in a day, like in your programming, in your day, like how many lessons? Because I remember the most traumatic lessons that I went through in school were the double lessons, some of them double chemistry, double maths, and you're being taken through and, you know, okay, most parents, we make our children think that we were the top of the class.
Yes.
But until they come across some of the papers we were doing, they discover that in mathematics, when you're scolding them for getting 65 or 70, you yourself were getting 45, 08, 10%. So how many lessons, different lessons, do when you're doing homeschooling, do the students go through per day?
Per day is we normally have our sessions. If it's an O-level student or A-level student, our session takes 2 hours. One session.
Yes.
So if it's an O-level student and O-level or A-level, we advise parents maybe maximum 2, not 3. But
two different lessons.
One lesson takes 2 hours.
Yes. So that's 4 hours of learning.
The maximum is now 2, which is 4 hours.
Yes.
But for primary level, we don't go beyond 2. And our one session takes 1 hour for primary level.
Or for primary, the session
takes 1 hour.
1 hour.
And we can't go beyond 2.
And you can't go beyond 2.
Yes.
Meaning you can do 2 subjects.
Only 2 subjects, yeah. Because one subject will take at least 1 hour.
Where were you guys when we were going to school?
then you know the student will have time to enjoy, do
Yes.
other things,
Yes.
and interact with the parent. It comes with many benefits.
Yeah, because I think the environment of learning is so important.
Yeah.
Because it determines the kind of attitude you
Yeah.
develop towards learning.
Yes.
I started out living in Jerusalem just here. And I started out, my first classes, I went to Dr. Livingstone Primary School, which is just here.
Okay.
I hope it has changed. Because back then it was a terrorist camp.
Yes.
So it just adversely affected, the way we saw education until we came to Harambee Primary School, where things changed. So the environment for me is very important.
The environment is very important. The way you just said some history there. I also remember, this is something like I went through. I also remember in primary, the teacher was asking us to be in school by 5:30. So 5:30 we are on the road. Remember, you have waken up at around 4.
Yes.
And I grew up in the village.
Yes.
So life was not easy. So getting even that breakfast is not easy. So you are going to school around 6 sharp. The teacher is already
At the gate.
Yes. So the question is, when will a student have time to sleep?
Yes.
Because it's very healthy. If you call here a health expert,
Yes.
will tell you that a child should sleep enough time. Should have enough time to sleep. So it's good for us, a child to start learning as from 8.
Yes.
That's why many of our schools pick up from 8. But now in homeschooling, we don't even start at 8. We allow our children to sleep. They will just wake up at their own time, convenient time, around at 9.
Yes.
Take their tea. Because, this issue of I'm late. That's why you see
Yeah.
people are developing ulcers,
Yes.
stress. Because this issue, I'm late. They're running, So when a child is just relaxed, take his tea or her tea, and now from 9, that's when we can come and take 1 hour, give the student another 1 hour break, take another 1 hour, and so on. Then we allow also the child to have time with their parent and so on.
True.
But I'm not sitting here in front of the camera and say that we should discourage the traditional learning.
Yes.
This is just where a parent feels like. And that's why you see our parents, some of them take students to international curriculum.
Yes.
Because they feel like let me take them. It's just, we want parents not to be pushed into a corner that you have to.
Yeah, it's only CBC that is available.
They should have that space to choose.
Yes.
We are not saying that we discourage, because when we take students all from our schools, even homeschooling cannot even happen. So we need children to be in school. But if a parent is feeling that something is not good, and this is your child,
Yes.
you are not looking at this school A, B, C, D. At the end of the day, you will be transferred. You will move to another place.
True.
You are working in Nairobi, your children are here. You will be in a village one day. You will be in another town one day. You will leave that school. But this child will be with you forever. So
Yes.
if you feel the child is not getting what you want, then you need to do something.
Yeah, true.
Just give us a call, and we will find a way to help you out. Yes.
And they normally take the normal national exams.
Yeah, they will take normal national. If it's CBC, they will do national exam.
Yes.
They will just, that's why I was telling you now, it's upon us to, some parents don't know how they can do. We can do that for them. We have schools which will just register student, log in everything to be there. But you are not limited. Nobody will say, okay, because your child is not coming to school,
Yes.
you are arrested. No. You have the child, information is in a certain school, let the child sit at home if you feel.
Yes.
But we are not telling parents to take children from school. We are not saying that. Yeah, we are just saying if you feel like, say for example, because actually that's where we should be measuring. Why do you make that decision? My child is a special need child,
Yes.
for example.
Yes.
And I don't feel that is comfortable with the other.
The normal
yes, that's
setup.
when we can say, okay, let this child be on homeschool. We have special need teachers. We'll take that expert to handle this student. Maybe, for example, a child is sick, undergone a surgery, is sick, long-term diseases. The child will be at home.
Yeah.
So instead of missing out,
A teacher comes.
a teacher comes. so that you don't regret, oh, my child will repeat. There is no room for repeating. Your child will just continue, will just learn with the rest.
Yes.
Then maybe a situation whereby religion and some family issues. Say, for example, you are in an environment whereby your religion does not allow your children to go to those schools. So, the religion factor, something like that. So, you will feel like, okay, you will register, but because I don't want you to be twisted to your mind or something, stay at home, get a teacher, and so on. Then, another now big area where, in fact, we measure so much is the resident. Those experts who come to the country.
Yes.
They're just here for 2 months, 6 months, 7 months. Most of them, they approach us. Now, a child is from Ireland, is from Canada, from America, and maybe their parents are just here for a short time. So maybe it's 2 months, 3 months. The child is registered in the home school, at home. But the parent feel like, I don't want to start again registering this child to another school in Kenya. Now, we will be there to enable that learning. We just want to know which curriculum are you using. And we give you the expert. So, and then this child, when going back, will do exam the same time with the rest.
Oh, that's
just
amazing.
pass.
And you've seen successes in
What
this.
about traveling? You are here.
Of
course, everybody in Nairobi, they have their home, like village.
Yeah,
so I want to go home for 2 weeks. But because my child is in school, I'm having trouble. How do I go? What? Now, this is what we are saying. See, your child is in school. Just go talk to the administration that I'm going with my child. But for the 2 weeks, he will be learning. Yes, don't worry. The child will be. I just want to know where my child is. So now that's where the online was coming. The one I was telling you. So you are in Kiambu. Somebody is in Kisumu or Busia. We will have our child there. We'll teach our child systematically. So when this child comes back, they have not lost anything. Yeah.
All right. Great conversation. Thank you very much. Because I think that's something that I'll organize for another opportunity so that we have this conversation, because I'm big on information. I know information is power. Knowledge is power. Unless people know, then they cannot act the way they're supposed to know. I know there are so many parents who just know there is CBC, period.
Yes, and not only parent, as you finish. Majorly for us, we support learning. We support learning in a way that even in schools, we have a connection with some directors who feel like, okay, let me call, they can call me, for example. Now, all these things we are talking here, in major of our schools, teachers, as we say, they go teach, go home because of maybe they have not been trained in one way or another. So if a director is somewhere there and you feel like you want your teachers to be given some trainings, we do STEM training, we do STEAM training, we do robotics, we do also coding, and we also, we will always be there. Not only like our interest is on students, then also we have also our expert among us who do the supply of the learning materials. Maybe a school needs some learning material and you want it to be flowing. Like anytime you want, they will be there. So we also have all this. We just support learning, anything to do with learning.
Oh, that's great.
Also parents, some parents, they want some learning. So we can also teach older people. Yes.
In
at
anything?
Home. Yeah, in maybe language. Some parents just want to upgrade on their language, maybe English. These parents who come out from outside, they don't know English. Yes, so we can teach them Swahili and so on. Now this is for older people. Yes.
I remember when we were growing up, there was a program that used to be brought. It was a radio show. They would bring a radio into us classroom and they're, good morning, good morning, good morning. Remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
So this has evolved to what he's talking about, where your child can stay at home, can do hybrid, and they can be taught. And they're doing your normal exams or the international exams. and they incorporate it into the system,
Yes.
they don't miss out.
Yeah, sure.
So let's focus a lot upon our education system. For the government, invest more money in education.
Sure.
You don't want to have a foolish generation. It's a curse to a nation. So with that, we bring the curtains down on the show. Remember, at 9 a.m., we're going to have Your Faith, and then at 2 p.m., Manukato. So don't go away.
Thank you.